This is the Iron Sharpens Iron movement, sharing insights into the power of people-centric leading.
Hi, this is Jim, and today we welcome to our tribe a globally recognized professional speaker, executive coach, and trainer, where her leadership skills and life stories are utilized to add value and to develop senior executives and our future leaders. She's a great friend of mine, a former Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Reserve Command, and is currently serving as a criminal investigator for Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Protection in the Office of Professional Responsibility. This is Ericka Kelly. Iron Sharpens Iron movement is brought to you by N2 Growth, a leader in executive search, leadership development, and talent management. We find and develop the world's best leaders. Learn more about our practice by visiting us at n2growth.com or click on the link in the show notes of this podcast. Ericka, my wingman, thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be an exciting episode because not only with how we've read your background off of your bio, I think our tribe is going to be excited to hear everything that you have and your wisdom. But it's just an honor to talk to you again. You know, we have served side by side for so long. We entered the Air Force in the exact almost within 30 days of each other. I don't know if you know that. And we just served side by side in the halls of Congress, and it was just awesome. So welcome to the Iron Sharpens Iron movement.
This is, for me, so exciting. So thank you for having me here. And the honor is me sitting with you and just being side by side with my mentor. So thank you for having me.
Well, that mentorship certainly works both ways. I know that we just read the bio and I introduced you as the former Command Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force Reserve Command. But for some of our listening audience that doesn't realize it, Ericka was the senior most enlisted person in all of the Air Force Reserve Command. And it was a lateral position to what I had for the Air National Guard. So very often, Ericka and I would find ourselves in Washington, D.C., whether it was walking the halls of the Pentagon or Congress, or even if we were back at her home headquarters down in Georgia or in D.C., where I was working, we were fighting the fight on behalf of all the enlisted personnel in the Air Force. And Ericka, it was just a thrill to always watch you and your passion in action. And you still carry that passion now that you have retired out of the Air Force Reserves. You still carry that passion as a public speaker and a leadership development expert. So this is going to be a good conversation.
I'm looking forward to it.
So, Ericka, one of the things that I would love to know is now that you've kind of, and obviously you were a true reservist in many ways, meaning that you were a citizen soldier, citizen airman, that the fact that, you had two jobs and you right now, you are actually back in your original federal government job, which is with Homeland Security. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, I work for Customs and Border Protection.
And I'm sure this keeps you very busy. That is for sure. I would love to know, from your perspective, how have you seen the world? What are some of the lessons that you've learned when you served in the military that absolutely cross-pollinate into the civilian sector? What are some of the classic things that you have seen, observed, and is witnessed now from both ends? What are some of the classic leadership things that are everlasting, I should say, no matter military or civilian?
Sure. And in my path, because leadership is always, as you get more awareness, then that leadership skill then keeps developing. So if I can share how I saw the world from a leadership perspective at the beginning of my career.
Awesome.
At the beginning of my career in the Air Force, I was a medic. I early on, because of crazy things that were going on in my personal life, I thought the best way of me serving was to be a medic, and from the civilian side, to become a nurse out of everything else in the world. Things changed in which I realized that I loved the medical careers, but I did not want that career field to be my primary in my civilian life. So I quickly changed um, to criminal justice to become a law enforcement officer. So for the longest time, Jim, I had two different worlds. And I had to balance being law enforcement on one side and being a medic on the other side. So this is what happened, and this is where the connection of different leadership is leadership, but it looks different in different worlds.
Sure.
In the medical side, my primary role as a young airman was to learn and take care of people. And but the same person, me, in the law enforcement side of the house, needed to be very assertive, very confident, and on point to neutralize a situation, any situation.
That makes sense.
Both worlds help me. Both worlds help me. Being law enforcement in one world and being a medic in the military helped me be softer, compassionate. And on the military side, being a medic, but having that law enforcement background made me stronger, confident, and very sure of the environment that I was walking in.
That makes so much sense. So, would you say that uh, the leadership lesson is about the context of where you are leading, or the context helps shape you, or is it more about a leader should look at trying to garner as many experiences as possible?
So, from the leadership perspective, one side of me could have been in charge. So, I was the leader.
Hmm.
And from the other side, because I was able to open up myself to be teachable, we have to be teachable. I was teachable, and then I was following. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that in those two worlds, what I was doing was holding on a balance in which, as I was learning, I was leading or I was following.
Mm.
In both worlds, everything together. I didn't put everything in different bubbles. Everything together helped me be successful in both worlds.
And were you even aware that was happening at the time? Were you aware of it, or is this upon reflection going, "Wow, what a great way to start kind of my careers and start shaping who Ericka really is"?
At the beginning, I did not know. At the beginning, what? No, I mean, um, sometimes I share my story of how I ended up in the Air Force, in the Air Force Reserve to be specific, even though I went in and out of active duty. I was always a reservist. But that story of how I got into the Air Force is foundational to understand how a person, me, who had zero value and zero worth of when they saw themselves. If you would have met me in my late teens and you would have said, Ericka, what's your worth? I would have answered zero.
So, Ericka, why don't you share with us? Why don't you share with us your journey, because it's very emotional, and if you're willing to do that with our audience, I personally know of your journey, and it's so inspirational. And if you feel safe talking about it, I think it's a great example to show all the way back to before you were 12 years old about that journey that took you to the Air Force.
Oh, okay. Uh, so I will take it back to maybe Central America. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's an inspirational story, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, and I'll just share very quickly because I think the audience needs to understand that I have made some horrific mistakes in life. But if I put him into context of maybe why, I think the audience would be hopefully kind and understand the why I maybe overstepped my boundaries or made the wrong decisions.
We're
And
here to learn.
thank you. Thank you. Be nice, please. But, um, but this is my core, and usually when I talk to an audience or when I'm teaching a class, I share with them that we should not ever look at our present circumstances, where we are right now, and somehow make that a a reflection of what our future is going to be like. Because if I or you would have made that prediction of me, then both of us would have been wrong.
Yep, you're
Well,
right.
yeah, I was born in a extremely poor country, Guatemala in Central America, and in that poor country, I was very, very poor. And oh man, I remember my two brothers. I remember my two brothers. I remember myself being very small, being happy, starving but a happy kid, and how everything changed when my mother left. And when my mother left, she locked the door from the outside of the little shack we lived in.
Oh man.
And she left myself and my two brothers now in complete darkness in a trap. And I remember, I know that it's going to sound crazy. I was five, my brothers 4 and 3. And I tell the story of I very quickly was not a 5-year-old anymore. I'm looking at my two brothers. I'm looking at how we're going to survive, how we're going to get out. And
Right.
brother, I didn't know how. Um, so we were in that locked room for a total of 7 days
Oh my
before,
gosh.
yeah, before my grandmother came to rescue us. And when my grandmother came to rescue us, then we became the kids that we were in such a bad shape that our heads, I mean, I can't describe them.
You mean physically and mentally?
Well, mentally, I did not know the scars,
Okay.
right? But
Yep.
physically, yes, because we were in that room for 7 days. So we had all kinds of creatures walking on our little bodies. So, bottom line is, me as a little girl, my head was shaved, and that's not good. uh, my brother's the same, but it was different for me, in which I started listening to the adults. I started listening to the kids even more so. Of I was the abandoned kid. I was the worthless kid. I was the one that shouldn't be touched because who knows what I had. So very quickly, a community that I where I felt safe started isolating me and my brothers. So even though my grandmother gave us a very, um, I guess, comfortable, not comfortable because we were still poor and hungry,
Sure.
but when it comes to love, I would say a very comfortable place for us to be safe. Culture and environment was not that. So that's my foundation. My foundation is me trying to understand why I was not worth my mother fighting for me, and why she would leave the three of us to in those days. And I spent many years thinking that my mother left us to die. So with that foundation, my mother comes back. There's an earthquake, which again another story, but a devastating earthquake. And that earthquake makes my mother who left come back.
Oh boy.
And she's a stranger, and I shouldn't say we. I don't like her.
I
I
can imagine.
I don't like her. So
Right.
so she brings us to the United States. That's my journey. My journey is that this strange woman that doesn't look anything like me comes back and somehow says, I have the right to choose for you. I'm telling you, I was 12 and I was angry.
I can
And
imagine.
we walked, brother. We walked from Guatemala all the way through Mexico to the United States.
How long did that take you?
I would say, oh, I don't know. We would sell chiclets on the side of the road. We would get rides once in a while. The I'm telling you right now, the Mexican people were so amazing and wonderful. I only have but great memories of them. But nonetheless,
Awesome.
here I am with my now new mom, old mom, and my two brothers, and we're going through Mexico. Again, different culture, a little bit different Spanish, and I'm lost.
Hmm.
And we get to the United States, and now my mom introduces us to our stepdad, John, who is surprised to learn that his wife, mother of his new baby, has three children because she never told him.
Surprise.
Surprise. So my mother brings us into a household with a man that is devastated, loves her, but devastated of the betrayal.
Hmm.
So he wasn't the best stepdad, to say the
Okay.
least, because we were strangers to him. So this is and why I know the question was, why did I get into the Air Force Reserve? Well, this is the journey, brother. Everybody has a journey on how they make a decision, right?
That's
So,
right.
so here I am in Las Vegas with a mom that I want to not know, with a stepfather that doesn't speak Spanish, I don't speak English, and I see him as the enemy, and I feel uncomfortable in the United States.
That's natural. I mean, who wouldn't in that environment? There's no
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
And then
And
now you're entering your teenage years, all of those things.
yeah. But by the age of 16, my mother, so I learned and I started loving the country, loving the people. And I learned that I needed to finish high school. I learned that school was important. And I thought, very quickly, I thought, I don't want to stay in this box. I didn't know what my box was. I just didn't want to stay in that box.
Right.
And I thought, well, I need to finish high school. I thought high school was it. If I finish high school, I will be successful in the United States.
Hmm.
And I think I was in the 10th grade, and my mom says, you need to quit school. One, because you need to work. You need to add financially, you need to add to the family. And I told her I learned that in the United States, you go to school and you finish high school. And then after I finish high school, then I can start working. And then she's like, no, you are old enough. I think I was maybe 16. I don't know. You're old enough. You're going to start working. School is completely secondary.
Wow.
Mind you, she only has a second grade background, so I know that sometimes I sound very judgy towards my mother, but when you learn her story, then you realize, oh, that's why, right? And that's why it's so important for us to know our story so we can know our why. So
That's right.
there I am, 10th grade, with the big dilemma of either quitting school, going to work full time, or staying in school and continuing to work part time because I was already working. So I told my mom that I would like to stay in school. So my mom very politely, with colorful words, said, "Then the door is right there. Don't
Oh,
don't ever come back. So at the age of 16, I saw myself as a homeless teenager in the streets of Las Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah. And there I am, right? But I had
Yeah.
landed a part-time job, and one of my coworkers, an angel in my life, said, "Come and live with me." And she moved her kids and told her husband, and that angel in my life gave me the opportunity to stay in her house, safe environment, and finish high school, pay rent, feel confident. But again, I was still 16, brother.
Yeah.
So
Yep. 16.
I was 16 and going to school. I'm working full time now, working during the day and going to high school at night because that's
Oh,
my
wow.
dream. My dream is to finish high school because that's the American dream. And in my senior year of high school, I remember a teacher, another angel, saying, "Erica, are you planning on going to college? I see potential in you." And then I'm like, what? Someone paying attention to me? What? Someone saying that I have potential, value, worth? What? And what is college? And then I learned,
Yeah.
and then I learned, Holy Mother of God, there's more school.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I thought I was done.
I thought I was done. And what happened was that I was so tender. I mean, I look back, I'm in my 50s now, and I look back at that 16-year-old and I'm like, oh my gosh. But this is where my life really turns into um, at the time horrible nightmare, but now I look at it as a blessing, and that is that Ericka met who she thought was going to be her shiny rescuer knight that would just, I don't know, take her to a world where she would be secure, protected, and safe. And this individual became my husband. I, I met him at 16 and he was 32.
Oh, my goodness.
And at the time, oh my God. Remember at the beginning, I said, don't judge me?
Yeah. No, this is a no judgment zone.
Remember?
Right.
Remember, I said,
Yep.
be nice to me?
That's right. That was a good, oh my gosh. That's just an, oh my gosh, what an age difference. That's all.
Well,
That's
oh
all.
my God, that's a red flag, little girl. Oh my God. So he was 32. He was jealous. He was very violent. He was very, very aggressive. And I saw those red, ugly flags as security
Wow.
because no one, and remember my programming, remember my
Yeah.
conditioning.
Yep.
So when someone gets mad because I'm talking to somebody else, oh, he really, really loves me because he's paying attention to me. And when he scolds me, then he loves me. So I
Hmm.
got into this trap of thinking that he was the guy. So uh, I ended up marrying him. And as soon as I was married to him, so let me go back to the question of why joining the military. I did not go into the Air Force Reserve at 18 after high school.
Okay.
I went into the military at 22.
Which, for most people enlisting in the military, actually is an older age.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
So I had from 16 to 22, I had that relationship in which it evolved into what I just described, to me being completely controlled to the point that I needed to say, "Sir, can I eat today?"
Oh, no.
And he would tell me if I could or could not eat that day. And if I could eat, he would tell me what to eat.
Wow.
what I needed to wear. And I'm sharing this with you as
Yeah.
a friend because sometimes people see retired Command Chief Ericka Kelly. Uh, they see Ericka Kelly, business owner. They see the senior special agent for
Mm-hmm.
Homeland Security, and they see those titles. And if people don't understand that all of us have a journey of how we got there,
Yep.
we're missing a big piece of leadership, a big piece of who we are as people and how we connect with people.
Erica, it's so important. Absolutely right. For people to think it's always successful people, it's always bubbles and rainbows, and it was, this fairy tale life, and we were the lucky ones because we're successful. Your point about knowing the journey is so incredibly important,
Yes.
and we're not done with your journey.
No, no,
That's
no,
for sure.
no. Of course. Thank you for saying that. But there I am, right, in a horrific marriage,
Yeah.
completely being controlled. And I see a commercial on TV about the Air Force Reserve. I remember my husband reading a newspaper. And I say, sir, I couldn't call him by his name, sir, can I do this part time? The same song, right? It's a part time job once a month, only 2 weeks a year. And he says, puts the paper down. I see it. I mean, I can close my eyes and see it. He puts the paper down and he goes, do the effing you want. And I thought, permission.
Yep.
And I went to the recruiter. And then the recruiter says you have to pass a medical and a test and a this and a that. And I'm like, oh no, because again, I'm a failure and I'm a zero and I'm worthless and who's
Mm.
on me. But nonetheless, I jump in, brother. I took the risk and I jumped in and I passed the test and I'm like, oh my God, I passed the test. And then I'm getting excited. And when I share with people, the Air Force gave me my first yes, my first worth, my first you can do this.
Wow.
Um, when I left for basic training, and everyone that has served in the military knows how that one night feels, that first night.
Right.
Uh,
You're
I
darn right.
Well, yeah. I was staring at that bed, that metal bed, that,
Uh-huh.
and I'm listening again, always listening, right? Because I'm always hyperactive and in my environment, and I'm listening. And then I hear women, young ladies cry. I'm hearing a, um, a military instructor scream at us. But guess what he's not doing? He's
What's
not
that?
touching us
Ah.
because the whole time that I was controlled,
Mm.
I was being beaten every night. I was being raped anytime he wanted to rape
Mm.
me. So, brother, I'm standing in front of that bed and I am tears, but not tears because I am there.
Yeah.
I am tearing up and looking up and staring at that bed and I'm thinking this is the first night and I don't know how many years in which I am safe.
Wow. Erica, that's powerful.
So that was my first night. That's why I entered the military. The more I walked, we had to earn our uniform, right?
Right?
But every single day in basic training, I would be that little trainee. You want me to clean what with a toothbrush? Oh yeah, I will do that. You want me to clean what? Yes. So they thought I was a crazy person because I enjoyed what they gave us.
Right.
I enjoy the torture, but that's because I didn't see it as torture. I saw it as a way out. I saw it as them molding me to being an airman. And because I did not like who Ericka Kelly was, I needed to trust them to make me who I needed to be in order to have the strength to move forward.
It is so amazing to me that, again, people that are veterans, they understand all of these conversations. They understand the context of, at least from the day that you got to basic training on, about the environment that you're in, not your personal circumstances. But it's one of these things that I hope folks that have never served in the military start to see and embrace this beautiful thing that happens starting at that first day of basic training, about this transformation of all human beings. Everybody goes through this transformational moment. And one of the things that to be honest, Ericka, I'm hanging on every single word that you're saying. But what I am just so proud of is our military, is the ability to take someone that, somebody says, oh, you just got to take this medical test. You got to take this cognitive test, all of those things. And people just think, oh, they dismiss it all. But how important that was to you, about to be able to even pass these things, to get into the military, to give you a life and all of that. It's just, I don't know. I'm proud of our military. I'm proud of people that wish to serve, and to hear so far, and I'm still not letting you done with this journey, just to hear so far about what this journey has meant to you, and the simplest things of being safe to sleep at night, of being asked to do a menial task, when we know from the other side of leadership, these menial tasks are meant to do certain things and to reinforce certain attributes later on in the military, about how, it was a privilege for you to do them, because you're like, this is not hard compared to what I've come from in my journey.
That is so true. And also, something that I do want to highlight is the thousands of young people that do want to serve in our military. That
Yeah.
is, like my dream was to finish high school. Their dream is to serve in the military. And
Yeah.
that test doesn't allow them to. That medical exam closes the door to them. So there's plenty of people that wish they could wear the uniform. And for one
Very true.
reason or another, they cannot. So I started truly analyzing this about myself and truly looking at it as, one, hard work, two, the blessings that I had received uh, from the angels in my life, people that they were hints. I'm telling you right now, everything in my life was a big no, 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 and no. And once in a while, I would find a friend, a teacher, and a stranger. It didn't matter, but I would find a yes.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
That's what I held on to. I I chose, it's all about choosing. I chose to put those no's to the side and hold on to that small little baby yes, because that yes was showing me a little blink of light, a little blink that my life could be different.
I want to come back to that, about how important these small wins are throughout everyone's journey, right? Throughout all of your lives, and about being able to recognize them. But I want to continue with, and so we're going to come back to that, but we're going to continue with your story, though, about what happens after you return home, Ericka. What happens after you go through basic training and then you start to learn your job? If you want to talk to us about that, about what is that learning environment about, I guess, from your eyes, about someone who just graduates high school and now has to go through another learning environment. But what was it like when you finally came home?
So the military environment, I just soaked it in. I loved it. I loved it. Well, I came from a trapped world, so the
Yeah.
uh, in a negative side, but now in the positive side, the Air Force is giving me boundaries, it's giving me rules, it's rewarding me for good actions, and it's not punishing me for bad actions. It's re-guiding me.
Hmm.
And it's so I truly received amazing leadership from day one. If I think that if I would have received bad leadership, it would have reinforced everything that I had in my toolbox,
Great point.
and then I would have just gone home and done nothing. But the medical side of the house, the tech school, the technical school, is a little longer than some other schools. So I think I was gone, if not a year, almost a year from that.
Yep, makes sense.
And I remember, and I wish I could tell the audience, tell you that it was magical. And boom, there I was, strong woman, right? Airman.
Right.
But that's not how it played out, brother. I remember being at the McCarran Airport in Las Vegas with my duffel bag. Remember those long duffel
Yeah.
bags?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's full because I've been gone for a while. It's full, and guess what? I am really tired. So I'm waiting for my husband to come and pick me up, and I'm tired. So I sit and I put the duffel bag in front of me, and I lean on the duffel bag, and I close my eyes.
Hmm.
And I don't know if I fell asleep or not, but I do know that I closed my eyes and I was tired. And the next thing I know is this bag is being pulled from underneath me, and
Hmm.
I'm going forward. I'm falling now, and that's my husband
Ah,
who starts cussing me out and starts telling me that he has gone around that stupid airport, other words used, twice looking for me, and how nice of me to just, blink, 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 just sit down and
ah,
go to sleep. And so he grabs me, he throws my duffel bag in the back of his truck, he pushes me in the truck, and now I'm in shock
right.
because I have been being built. I am like, now I have an identity crisis.
Yeah.
Because in tech school I was in charge of this or that.
Yeah. Two
People,
different worlds
yeah,
colliding.
yeah. People asked me for my advice, and I was giving advice, and I felt comfortable. And here I am in this other world in which I am like, who am I? So
Hmm.
as he's driving, I'm sitting in the truck, and I'm thinking, what the heck? So we get home again. He grabs me. Mind you, for people that don't know me, I am 5'2", maybe 110. And
Yeah.
that has not changed. I'm still short and I'm still little. And he is about 250,
Hmm.
big power lifter guy. So when I'm saying he grabs me, he really is treating me like I'm a doll,
Oh
right?
wow.
Like I'm just
Right.
another bag. And I remember him pushing me into what I would say house, but it was so called home. And then I stood up. Like he pushes me, and I land on the floor, and he starts on me. And
Hmm.
I remember getting up, and I remember saying, "You will not talk to me like that. You will not treat me. You will not." Right. And I started. And for the first time ever, I stood up to this big monster in my mind,
Hmm.
because I created him to be this big monster in my mind. And now I was seeing him as a man. I was seeing him as a very insecure person. So here I am saying, no, this is who I am, no more. no more.
Love it. Yes.
Well, I wish that that was it, but it
Ah,
wasn't. He beat me like I have never been beaten before. And something that he would do all the time, and tell me if this is too much. Well, you can edit it out. But if this is too much, just tell me. But this is something that he would do. Again, he would tell me, I already told you what I look like, that I'm ugly, that I'm fat. No one's going to want me. He's the only one that's stupid enough to care for me. So
wow.
that was said to me day in, day out. So that day when I stood up for myself for the first time, I get the beating of my life. And then he started doing what he did all the time, which was to rip my clothes off. And as I am naked, trying to grab something to cover myself, anything,
Mm.
piece of paper, anything, he would laugh.
Mm.
He would laugh at my desperation. And then he would rape me.
Mm.
And then when he was done, then he would uh, kind of do with his hand, he would just push my body like, you're worthless now. I used you. You're worthless now. And he would just push my body to the side.
Wow.
So I wish that the story was, well, the story is a happy ending story because I'm telling you, I'm
Right.
here, I'm still alive.
Right. You are a survivor.
But
Absolutely.
it took about a month or two. His behavior did not change. His behavior escalated because he did see that I was stronger, and he
Yep.
did see that I had a different confidence. So what ended up happening is he escalated his violence
Hmm.
to the point that the police officers would tell me, "We're going to find your dead body. We're going to find you in the desert if you don't do something to help yourself."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and again, that's also one of the reasons those little angels in my life. A police officer, I remember running through an alley. Again, he was ripping my clothes off, so I'm running through an alley, just holding on to my blouse, whatever's left of my blouse, running through an alley, and the police is called. The police finds me, and I remember this beautiful man that takes his jacket off and puts it on me
Mm.
and is talking to me. Almost, I was young, right? I was young.
Right.
uh,
Right.
and he's talking to me as a dad, and he's like, "Erica, we're going to find you dead." that's
Mm.
that's
Mm.
the
Mm. Mm.
escalation. That's where you are right now. So between the commercial, between that officer, between the violence from my ex-husband, that drove me to the Air Force. And because of the little seeds that the Air Force put in my brain, in my body was healthy.
Yeah.
Then I came back. It was brutal when I got back, but I then had the strength to call a friend, because no one, my family, friends, no one, they thought I had the perfect marriage, right? No one knew. It was a huge secret because he came from a pretty awesome family. And
Hmm.
nonetheless, I had the courage to call a friend. And once I call that friend, this is what happens, right? You think it's a secret, but it's not a secret. And uh,
Yeah.
Sam, her name is Sam. Sam goes, "Erica, I've been waiting for this phone call for a very long time. Let me,
Wow.
let me go get you now."
Yeah.
And I left that day,
Hmm.
and I haven't looked back since then.
Wow. It's, just by listening to this so far, I mean, like the word survivor comes to mind, that you survived through all this, and resilience, your personal resilience about how this just made you stronger. All of this adversity continued to build the strength within you, even though it's a tragic story in a way, but then you find this inspiration in your own strength, Ericka. It's hard to have words.
People ask me, what would you change? Would you take that ex-husband from your life? Would you take those beatings out of your life? And I mean, there's so many. I mean, when you're a homeless teenager, things happen to you. When you are poor in a third world country, things happen to you. So, um, my my marriage to this individual is one thing that happened to me. One thing in a summation of tons of things.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now that I wouldn't change one single minute. Uh, I spent years being angry and feeling sorry for myself, and anger fueled me. I was so angry that I wanted to prove to you and the world that I could be a NCO, that I could be a
Yeah.
senior NCO, that I could be a chief, that I could. So I was wasting so much energy, brother, uh, trying to prove to the world that I was somebody. And when I changed that with growth and learning and being able to get out of my comfort zone, the more I learned, the more I realized that I did not have to justify my existence to anyone. I just needed to be me. I just
Yeah.
needed to I just needed to understand why those things happened to me. So my why did this happen to me changed to why not me?
I love that.
Why not me? Was I wishing all those beatings on somebody else? Was I wishing someone to be starving in a third world country? Because if it's not happening to me, it's happening to somebody else.
Right.
So I changed it. I changed it to why not me? Why not me? Because now I am strong. Now I can change people's lives. I can share my story with no shame. I can talk about when people tell me that, especially in law enforcement, right? People tell me you don't know what it's like. You know what?
Hmm.
I do know what it's like. I do know what it's like. I do know what hopelessness feels like. I
Yeah.
know what uh, when your bones are broken. I know what that feels like. As a medic, I was able, as an airman, I was able to hold someone's hand and give them compassion and mercy and care. Man, I love being an airman.
I tell you what, you're giving me goosebumps. Just as I do too. I love being an airman, and as we know, we're airmen for life. There's no doubt about that, and all of the beauty that it gave us. It's just an amazing privilege and an honor, and it's an honor hearing this journey, Ericka, because it's it's humbling to me in front of this entire audience here on this podcast that as we dove in and here you were as my wingman, and I'm like, Ericka, tell me about leadership, tell me about what you've learned in all of this and how you've taken these very surface conversations, to be honest, about leadership tips and tricks and all those, and to go, brother, let's talk about it's the journey, and then we'll start talking about these leadership lessons, because it's about the context of everybody's journey, about how you view the world, and about some of these things about how you learn. And I'm pretty humbled right now, Ericka. Look at you, just really putting me in my place right
No,
now.
no,
This is an awesome conversation that we are having,
no.
and I again, and I think everybody would agree with me that's listening to this, appreciate your vulnerability.
Well, I appreciate you, but I let me go back to what you just said. I think it's important that if I am going to help people in their leadership journey, or for them to understand the thousands of definitions of what the word means, that
Yeah.
if I talk, if I answer one of your questions and I say, in leadership, you have to be able to forgive. In leadership, you have to be able to follow. You have to be able to blindly trust. You have to, and I can just go on with a long list
Hmm.
of what's going to make you a great leader. If those things that I'm saying are not connecting with you, or if you say, what is she thinking about? What is she even talking about? That is crazy talk. In my leadership journey, you have to understand that even though I am at a completely different point in life that I was when I was a child, or when I was in my 20s, or whatever, all of those are tools. So you need to understand the journey, you need to understand the story. So when I am giving you advice, when I am sharing what could work, when I am coaching you in a place where you might be stuck, you know why. You know my why.
Yeah. Amen to that. Amen to that. And I will tell you, taking notes, listening so far, I must have 6 notes of just know your why, understand the why, know the story to know your why. And then the biggest one that I've got highlighted is why not me? I
And
love that about you, Erica. I love that. That is just amazing inspiration, just even off of that. The why not me?
so, did we ever get to your question, brother?
We did, we did, and I tell you, I think again, it's one of these humbling moments of just saying, hey, welcome to the show, and tell me what you know about leadership. But the realities are this journey, and it's almost like obviously we could talk for another hour on leadership 101 and those kind of things, but I think the most powerful and impacting thing that's come out of our conversation so far is just this. It's about the journey. It's about, one, the inspirational journey that you were able to share with us, and about how through these episodes you build strength, you build resilience. You find the small wins, the little glimmers of light that you talked about to help shape who you are. I think another takeaway, I'd love to know your opinion on this, Erica, because I think you probably have some of the best perspective on this. You really can't judge a person by their cover, can you?
No, no, but people do.
Yeah.
People do, and I just have to be aware of that, because yeah, and we're changing subjects a little bit, but let me share this with you. If you know yourself, then no one can put a label on you. They can try to put a label on you, but if you saw me and I am at Walmart with my t-shirt and my sweatpants, um, you would treat me differently than by reading my bio.
Hmm.
If you saw me, which it has happened, go to a pretty high end. Remember those nice dinners we used to go to?
Yeah, back in the day,
Yes,
pre-COVID.
yes. But some of those dinners, maybe in uniform, some not in uniform, high end nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
And but if you're not in uniform, then you are, oh, we don't know who you are, and you're not sitting here, because you and I would know where we need to sit
Yep.
because of our title and position at the
Yeah.
time. So we would walk to the table that we would expect to be seated at, and
Yeah.
then to have someone stop you from even getting close to the table and say, oh, no, no, that's table one. You need to go outside and you need to find
Ha.
out where you're sitting, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
And then you be polite enough to say, "Oh, of course, no problem." And then go outside and say, "I am. I'm looking for my table," and then for people to go, "Oh my gosh, no, you're sitting at table one," and I go,
Yep.
"Oh, okay, well, wonderful." Just be humble, right?
Yeah.
Not make it. And maybe I'm contradicting some language that other people will use. I never, anytime that people push me back, either because of their own assumptions or because of their ignorance, I never push back with aggression. I
Hmm.
always push back with kindness. I always push back with education. And if people would say, "Oh my gosh, I did not know that you were," right? I go,
Yep.
"Not an issue whatsoever. Tell me about you." Because I need to know their journey. I need to
Yep.
know where in their life they came up with that assumption that I could not be at table one.
Yeah, I love that, Erica. It's kind of funny. You catch me reflecting on some of our times together, and that was one of the things that I always did know about you. Like I was a rather aggressive person. I was always leaning forward. I'm a type A, like a bull in a china shop. I had a loud voice, a naturally loud voice, but like all those kind of things. And here you would be gliding right next to me, with that soft, gentle form of leadership that is twice as powerful at the end of the day, twice as impactful. That ripple effect goes so much farther when you just lead the way that you have led in the past. And it's pretty interesting to hear you talk about how you do your form of leadership in those kind of circumstances, because I've seen it firsthand, and it's amazing how powerful it is.
Oh,
It really is.
well, thank you. I will take that as a
So,
compliment, my friend.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let me ask you a little bit into a new question here, and it's really about the power of being a female too. And I don't want to box in, anything to say, females have a harder time or not. I think most statistics show that they do just naturally through unconscious bias or tons of other reasons, but do you use these stories? Do you use your journey? I mean, you made it to the top of the enlisted ranks from where you came from humbly just appreciating a soft bed on the first night of basic training to being the senior most leader within the Air Force Reserve. Do you use the power of these stories also to empower other females? Is there something, again, I don't want it to sound disparaging, right? But I mean, is there an empowerment lesson for the female population?
I had to learn that. I had to learn that my story is just my story, and it can be interesting or it cannot, or people will go, "Okay, why are you telling me all that stuff?" Right?
Hmm. Yeah.
But my story combined with a message, my story combined with an example, my story combined with people that are listening to it to understand that they too can get up, then that becomes powerful. My story by itself is just one of many.
Yeah.
So, in my journey as a female, in my journey as a female in really two male dominated worlds,
Sure. Yeah.
um, was hard, but I never gave up. And I'm
Hmm.
not saying hard because I wasn't welcomed in those worlds. I It was hard because I was not at the beginning accepted in those worlds. Can I share an example?
Sure. Of course.
The military uh, has been superb. because you wear a uniform, you wear a rank, and to a point, even if they don't like you until they get to know you, they see the rank and they need to respect the rank first.
Mm-hmm.
And then that gives you as a leader a little bit, you can't stay in that position of leadership, right? But it gives you that leadway for you to prove yourself, earn respect, and grow.
Yes.
In the civilian side of the house, my experience was not that. So here's the example that I want to share with you. I was selected, mind you, I went to school, I got my bachelor's, I got my master's, I got all this stuff, right? So I'm feeling pretty awesome and I am physically fit, right? I so I get selected to be a special agent. Again, pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome. And I get assigned because of my language background. I get assigned to a very elite unit really, really fast.
Hmm.
I did not have to go through the ground all the way up. So not my choice, but I was selected to be part of this very elite group because of my background.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked into that room, I would say maybe 50 men, me, female. All the guys turned and looked at me. They, they were having a conversation. They looked at me and then they looked back and they went back into their conversation just like if I was not even there.
Oh boy.
So I took a deep breath because now I am also having an identity crisis because here I am, happy to be an agent, happy to prove myself, happy to bring something to the table. And now they are telling me, no, I have nothing to bring to the table. So I approached the group, and with also law enforcement is very colorful in their language. Some of the guys told me to get out of the room. I
Wow.
I told them I was assigned to to that specific group and that I was part of the meeting because I was part of the operation. So they said, "You will never be part of us, and you will never be part of the operation."
Dang.
And I could have done a lot of things. This is what Ericka chose to do. I chose to be quiet.
Hmm.
I chose to learn from them. I chose to find my way in their world.
Yeah.
And this is what started happening. I remember one time I ended up arresting 15, 20 people, and I needed help with all the paperwork after arresting 15, 20 people.
Right.
And I called my supervisor and I said, I need help from the guys. And my supervisor says, well, just call a few of them. They'll come over. And I go, no, they won't. I,
Hmm.
I really need you to back me up and I need you to tell them because if I ask, they won't. Sure enough, he had to tell them. They came in, they were angry. And I remember all of them working hard. I mean, everybody is a professional. They just didn't like
Right.
me.
I.
And I remember sitting next to a peer and me coming over and saying, thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me out. And then he turns around and says, don't get this wrong. I don't like you. I don't like you being part of our team. I don't like you as a person. And I am here because I was told. And I am here because I am an agent and I am just doing my job. But
Whoa.
I'm not doing anything to help you. So I said, that's exactly why I'm thanking you. And
Huh.
he's like, what?
That's fair.
And he goes, I go, I know you don't like me. I know you don't think I'm worth anything about being in your group. I know that. But I am just telling you as a person that I appreciate you being here, even though you don't want to be here.
Hmm.
I am thanking you for being a true professional more so than taking a personal stand. And that conversation, my friend, switched it, in which he and I, throughout the years, right? I've been in law enforcement for 20 plus years. We became really good friends. And he became awesome. He was my partner. And this is what happened when the other guys would say, Ericka, blah, blah. He would say, you know what? She's not like that. And the more I work with people, individual people, they would say, we underestimated you. We did not know. And so I did not have to fight everyone at the same time and force them. You know what? You're going to have to welcome me, and I don't care if you like it or not. I'm here, and too bad.
Right.
I took a different approach. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
the right approach or not. And that's why I'm saying some of you listeners might go, wrong, wrong, wrong. I'm just sharing what worked for me. In
Right.
that close knit, what I needed to do was find my way in one person at a time.
And you did it through being humble. You did it through, again, showing a little bit of your vulnerability by thanking the person for what could be obvious, but most people don't thank people for saying, hey, thank you for being here, even though I know you hate me, even though I know you don't want me to be around, but thank you for at least doing it. All of those things are just, I don't know. Right. Yes. You could say, do you do it different ways? But the realities are, Ericka, these are fantastic lessons that we all need to take away about the optionality you have just to be a great person
Oh, of course.
more than
And,
anything
and,
else.
and that same approach has helped me working with the Marine Corps, working with Army, because the little groups that I ended up working with the Army and with the Marines, also only males. Um, so I needed to showcase, just like in law enforcement, that I wasn't selected to be part of their group only, only because I was Hispanic, only because I could
Yeah.
speak Spanish, only because I was a minority.
Yeah.
No, I was there because I had the knowledge, I had the experience, I had the backing, and I added to the team.
No, that's awesome. And it's, again, right, is that not just a lesson for everybody? Again, with so many people go in with preconceived notions, with just this idea of always judging the book by the cover, these preformed prejudices that just until you know the person is unfair. It's just unfair. You're going in, it's a prejudice stands for prejudgment, right? It is. And everybody just needs to be aware about how 99.9% of the time it's off base.
Yes, yeah. And in law enforcement, it's all about de-escalating situations. So I was pretty good at that. And in the Air Force and or the military in general is, can you carry your weight?
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
pretty good at that. So it just worked out.
Absolutely. Well, you definitely punch above your weight class for sure, Ericka. There's no doubt about that. Ericka, I can't thank you enough for really showing your vulnerability, sharing your vulnerability with us today. This journey that you've taken us on in this last hour has been so eye-opening to me, humbling, and makes me prideful to know you as a fellow wingman and a human being. And I'd love for you to give kind of the last word to our audience about anything that you would like to talk about from your perspective, knowing that this audience, I think, is better today by listening to your journey.
Oh, thank you for your kind words.
Hmm.
My final message is to go back to what I said earlier, and that is that it doesn't matter where you are in life, good, bad, or ugly. Your present conditions do not dictate your future. So if you are in a very good place right now, take care of it, because it's fragile, right? Life is fragile. And if you are in a condition that you need to get out, you need to grow, you need to push that comfort zone out of the way, you can do it. Something that I can give individuals as advice is that have a dream, have a goal, and have it in front of you. Have it in front of you. So every time something sets you back, every time you fall on your knees, you land on your face, it doesn't matter. Every time you look up, you see that dream, you see that goal. And then you get up. Do you have to start running towards that dream? No. Sometimes when you get hit, sometimes when we get hit, and guess what? It's not if you're going to get hit. You will get hit. You
Right.
will get hit, right? Regroup. Stay on the ground. So people is like, get up, get up, get up. Okay, sure, you are going to get up. But are you going to get up to get hit again? And are you going to get up to be hit again? No. Stay on the ground, please. Regroup yourself. Find out where you need to get up. Because if you're getting up in the same place with the same reasons, guess what? You're going to land back down.
Right.
Regroup. Get up. Get your balance before you make a step forward. Right? Sometimes we make the mistake of telling people, something happens to you, just get up and keep going.
Right.
Well, no, not really. Right? Some of us
Right.
can do that. Some of us cannot. Some of us need to stay put for a little bit and go, oh my gosh. So my final words is, your journey is yours. Don't let your personal conditions dictate your future.
I love it, Ericka. You are by far a shining inspiration of resilience and a true leader among us. You are a giant, and I appreciate the time that you've spent with us today. Again, I'll say it again because I'm proud to know you as a personal friend, that you've certainly made us better today. Ericka Kelly, thanks for joining the Iron Sharpens Iron movement.
Thank you, my friend. The honor was mine.
Thanks for joining our leadership movement this week. Talking to Ericka about her journey and lessons we should all take about knowing yourself first so that no one can ever put a label on you was powerful, to say the least. Don't forget our show notes are posted on the website with key leader takeaways, and be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tell a friend so we can continue to build the tribe. Until next time, remember that iron sharpens iron. Make yourself and others around you better every single day.